Race fans, welcome to a special edition of the Empire Super Sprint Look Ahead here on the Empire Super Sprint Facebook and YouTube pages. Great to be here with you. My name is Mike Mellett, former series announcer, and we are going to talk about the 2025 edition of Speedweek, which is happening starting this Wednesday night. Now, as you can see, I'm coming to you from a special location for this one, coming to you from the SprintCarUnlimited.com studios here in Pennsylvania. I'm actually down in PA checking out PA Speedweek before, of course, heading north to see some action for the Empire Super Sprints. Now, as we traditionally do, before we look ahead, let's look back to the 2024 edition of Speedweek, and unfortunately that got off to a rocky start with Wednesday night rained out at the Can-Am Speedway. Action then on Thursday shifted to the Utica-Rome Speedway for one of my favorite and most special events on the schedule, of course. That is, if you can see here on my shirt, the Bill Shea Memorial. And one driver invaded, a driver that is no stranger to Empire Super Sprint competition. We don't see him much anymore, but picking up the victory at Utica-Rome last year. Actually, a nightly sweep was Stuart Friesen. Friesen drove the Glenn Steyer's own number 0 to the victory. Then on Friday night, the series shifted to the D-shaped Dirt Demon. That's right. The Brewerton Speedway, always a great place to go. Lots of cars in the pit area, and picking up the win in 2024 was none other than local favorite Racing Jason. That's right, Jason Barney came home victorious at the Brewerton Speedway. Saturday night, the series visited the Fulton Speedway, and not a surprise winner. He's actually won the last two Speedweek events now at the Fulton Speedway, and that was none other than No Panic. Yes, that's right, No Panic. Davey Frenick, the driver out of Wantage, New Jersey, would capture the victory. Matt Tanner, Jason Barney had a great battle in that race for the runner-up spot. Now, the race of the week had to be on Sunday, the finale, which was a barn burner. Jordan Thomas, Matt Tanner in the mix, as well as the driver that eventually won the race in the 0-1 of Danny Varon. Danny Varon stole that one from him. A late caution for Jordan Thomas, who had issues, set up a shootout to the finish, and it was Danny Varon grabbing the victory. And as we usually do, I try to put a highlight video here in these episodes, and the highlight is going to be from the Weedsport Speedway, the finale of the 2025 edition of Speedweek. So before we talk about the champion from 2024, let's take a look at this highlight from the Weedsport Speedway.
Dave Farney has it in hand. Weedsport Speedway. We're underway with the Empire Super Sprint Tour. Thomas jumps out to the early lead here off at turn number 2. The 90 of Matt Tanner will go to the bottom. Trenka through the middle. 3-car battle for the lead off at turn number 4. It's going to be Jordan Thomas leading lap number 1. So Thomas leads the opening lap. The 90 of Tanner in the number 2 spot. Jordan Poirier has found the bottom. Got by Trenka. Now trying to work over the 22 of Preston for the number 3 spot. So we see the replay of Van Inwigen there, just too deep into turn number 3. Miller comes piling in, as does Hebing, with really nowhere to go in hand. Up on the top. We'll let these drivers get back to work as we're back underway. Jordan Thomas with another great start there. He'll go low to high off at turn 2 and lead the field off the corner. Matt Tanner will follow suit in the number 2 spot. Battle for third between the 98 of Trenk and the 22 of Preston. Off the quarter, it'll be Thomas leading lap number 2. Here comes Larry White, the 99L, side by side with the 28 of Poyer's. White bangs it off the boards off of turn 2. 0-1 at Danny Varon squeaks in front of the 87 of Jason Barney for position. Thomas had to seek evasive action there on the top side of turn number 2. Down the backstretch, here's where 10 laps in. Battle for the number 2 spot raging on as Preston seeking the middle groove here off of turn number 4. Tanner continues to hold the top at bay there in the number 2 position. I tell you what, the car making the most of this. Joe Trenka able to get back around Preston. Preston makes contact with Trenka, keeps it going, 360 spin right in front of Varon. So now Danny Varon with a jacked up nose wing. And the 17 of Reeks trying to capitalize. nearly a yellow, we stay green, and Jordan Thomas now extending his lead over the 90 of Matt Tanner by 4.6 seconds. 10 laps to go. 1 and 2. Tanner gets together with a 98 of Trinka. Trinka spins in front of Poirier. Yellow is out. Joe Trinka hopped the wheel there on the 90 of Matt Tanner into turn number 1 to go. And that'll Thomas choosing the inside line. The green flag is out. We're back underway. Thomas, the first one down into turns 1 and 2. Tanner tries to work the bottom. There goes the 28. Up Poirier to the inside of the 01 of Aaron. Off at turn number 4. Jordan Thomas leads it with 5 to go. Poirier able to get by the 01 of Aaron. Hill in here at the number 3 spot. Thomas to the top. Tanner with a run off the bottom. Oh, he bobbled off at turn 2. It'll be a drag race into turns 3 and 4. Will Tanner throw the bomb? Oh, Thomas in the wall. Thomas hits the wall off of 4. And Matt Tanner. 3 spot. Here we go. Chalk line down. 1 lap dash for cash. We're green. Tanner doesn't slide. Barron gets the whole shot off of 2, but there goes the 90 of Tanner. A better drive off into turns 3 and 4. Tanner will stick the bottom. Barron will let it eat on the top side. Double check it in the air. Off of 4. Danny Barron steals the win. Matt Tanner second. The 22 of Preston comes home third. Oh my goodness.
Danny Barron out of the car and up atop. Wing dance time for Danny Barron.
What a race, what a finish there at the Weedsport Speedway with Jordan Thomas unfortunately having problems there, hopping the cushion before the checkered flag. Then, of course, that shootout between Matt Tanner, Danny Barron, banging wheels as they came to the checkered flag, and Danny Barron just eked out the victory over Matt Tanner. When the final points were tallied back in 2024, for the first time in his career, Jordan Poirier captured the Speedweek title at 431 points. I'd like to be known that was my prediction as well. Finishing second was Davey Frenick at 419. Jason Barney rounded out the podium at 406. Now, let's look ahead to what we have coming up here this week, kicking off on Wednesday, July the 2nd, the Can-Am Speedway, as the series kicks off with the Dirt Car 358 Modifieds and the Dirt Car Sportsman also on the card for that one. Race time is slated for 7 p.m. For those of you looking to go into grandstands, $30. Looking to go into pits, $45. Of course, this event is the PAPS Shootout. Utica-Rome Speedway is back in action on Thursday, July the 3rd, as they honor Bill Shea once again with the Bill Shea Memorial. Also on the card for that one is the 358 Modifieds and the Pro Stocks. Race time 7 p.m. Grandstands $28. The pits $35 and $40 for members, non-members. Then on Friday, again, we go to the D-Shape Dirt Demon, my home track, the Brewerton Speedway, which will feature the Dirt Car Big Block Modifieds, the Dirt Car Sportsman, and the 4-cylinder Super Stocks, along with the Empire Super Sprints. Racing scheduled for 7 o'clock. Grandstand passes just $25. The pits $40-45 for non-members. Then on Saturday night, it's back to the high banks of the Fulton Speedway, with racing slated for 6:30 p.m. Grandstands are $25, pits $40 and $45. Then, of course, we cap it all off on Sunday, July the 6th, at the Weedsport Speedway. Racing is slated for 7 p.m. Grandstands are $35, pits are $40 and $45, members, non-members. Also on that card, the Dirt Car 358 Modified Series, along with the Hoosier 600 Sprint Tour. Now, if you want to see some predictions, etc., you want to see all this information, it will be available on DirtTrackDigest.com. Of course, our yearly Speedweek history, predictions, and fan guide will be available here during the day. So if you're wondering what's going on, or if you need any information, just go on over to DirtTrackDigest.com and you'll find my Empire Super Sprint story talking about the week. Now, I'm not going to tell you who my predictions were, because what's the fun in that? I actually want you to go read the story. And I made sure to change it up a little bit this year. We didn't just go with your traditional, hey, this guy wins this race every year. I just think this year's too wide open here for the Empire Super Sprints. Only 5 events run, and basically 3 of those have already been won by Jordan Poirier, so hard to bet against him. So he's going to be a guy you want to keep your eye on. Of course, Danny Barron, another guy you want to watch. Jason Barney, Davey Frenick, usual suspects. One other driver that you'll see is Paulie Colagiovanni, returning to the series here in 2025, driving the Denny Peoples number 3. So keep an eye on that 3 car. They've been fast, have yet to crack into victory lane, but this might be their week, but that's all I'm going to leave you with. So with that, this will wrap up another edition here of the Look Ahead for the Empire Super Sprints. Thanks for watching. Enjoy. And hey, make sure you get out to each track here this week. Of course, a lot of racing action. Can-Am Speedweek, if you can't make it, it'll be on Dirt Track Digest TV. If you can't make it there, of course, then on Thursday, Flow Racing will have the coverage from the Utica-Rome Speedway. Brewerton and Fulton Speedways, you'll be able to get the recaps on Dirt Track Digest TV after a couple of days. And then finally, the Weedsport Speedway will also be live on Dirt Track Digest TV. So for all of us here at the Empire Super Sprints, thanks for watching, and have a great 2025 CNY Speedweek.